Link is on. Welcome everyone on our next Kyma Core SIG meeting. What we'd like to discuss today, we have some points in our agenda. First of all, some sentences about our participation in the KubeCon. Then Mateusz Szostok will talk about the common libraries proposal. What does it mean? What it is? Then Arkadiusz Galvas will give us some updates about the application connector, what has changed, what's done there. And to be honest, that's it for today's meetings. And then we'll just have a short. Okay, then I will just say something about that KubeCon thing. We have a team. It's myself, Ahmed, Abdallah, Łukasz Górnicki, Ralph Hoffman, that will go to Seattle next week, and we will be representing the Kyma solution. Also, we plan to meet some guys from service catalog that we want to align on some of the things and which directions we should go, and other topics to meet the community and use the opportunity to talk about the future of some of the third-party things we are using. And that's mainly it. We are open to meet you. We'll be there. And we can just go to the next item. Mateusz, are you ready?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So I want to share with you our proposal about the common libraries. There's already a pull request in Kyma community. I will show you that. Just with a couple. Okay, we created some proposal, and for now we have an open pull request. And what about the proposal? We identified some problems with our current approach. I will not go into much details, but in general, we had a problem with repeating ourselves, with copying some common libraries between each components, and also have some unified approaches to the same problem, and sometimes about the code quality itself. And the solution is to just extract the common code from Kyma components to some place. And what we decide to have in Kyma repository new package called common. Here we'll have some common libraries which can be then used in our components. The important stuff is that it will be not public. It will be only used by Kyma developers. And this is the first iteration. After some time in future, we can have some new iteration and maybe make that package, that SDK, public to also for other developers, but in the first time we will have it only for our controllers. We already have some examples what we can put there, and what's more, we already agree, all Kyma fellows agree to go with that concept, and we have first task what we want to implement. First of all, we want to unify our approach under the Kyma test components for Kyma test components and come up with the common package, so the initialization of it and also announcing. As I said, the request is still open. We already agreed on it, so it's accepted. But if you want to add something more, then there is time for doing that. We'll wait some time until, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks until we merge it to the upstream. And since then, you can add your thoughts about it and share what we can improve to make it even more usable. And in general, I think it's all what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mateusz. Then we can go directly to Arek.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay, guys, do you see my screen?
Yes, we see.
Okay, thank you. So I will discuss some new stuff in the area of application and connectivity. Okay, first feature I'm going to show is the ability to read the status from the remote environment. Okay, I will show you it in practice. Okay, first let's create a new remote environment. Okay. Now let's go to the console. Okay, as we see, it's created. And now let's see what's in there. Okay, and here is a section status. As you see, the remote environment is being initialized. So let's try once more. Okay. Let's wait a minute. So it's still in new state. It means that all the new components has not been created yet. So let's check once more. Okay, and as you see, the installation status is that install has been completed. The status is deployed. It means that all the components which are needed for this remote environment to be functional are already installed. Okay, so that's it as it comes to the status. So now let's discuss a new change in the area of the certificate generation. But first, some short recap. Before the user can write some services or lambdas using some external system, three things needs to be done. The first is the creation of the remote environment. The second is generating the certificates. And the third is registering the services in metadata service using the certificate which has been generated for this remote environment in the step number 2. Okay, we changed one thing in the way how the certificate is being generated. But first, let me to shortly recap how the process looks like in general. Okay, so first thing is generating the token using the connector service. It is done by the administrator. Once the administrator has the token link, then they can start the whole certificate generation process. So this link is passed somehow securely to the external system, and then the external system is talking to the connector service. So using the generated URL. So in first step, the information needed to create certificate signing requests is returned from the connector service, and then the external system creates the CSR, sends it to the connector service, and then the certificate is returned. What we have changed here, we changed the first step, the way how the administrator is getting the token URL. Okay, in the first approach, it worked like this, that the administrator was downloading the kubectl from the console, and then using the port forward command, they were calling the internal connector service API, not exposed from the cluster. And currently, the solution doesn't work since the privileges in kubectl has been changed. So we needed a new way to generate this token. And what was introduced is the solution based on the custom resource definition. We introduced a new custom resource definition called token request. So the administrator needs to create such a resource. And then there is an operator which is automatically generating the token URL, which can be later used. Okay, now let me show how it works. Okay, so I have created a simple YAML file. So, okay, as you see, we create a token request here, and here is the name of remote environment I have already created. So the token will be generated for this remote environment. Okay, now let's try to apply this file. Okay, as we see, the CRD instance has been created. Okay, so let's check its contents. Okay, and as you see, here is the token URL, which could be used to perform the certificate generation steps. And let me to do one note here. I will show you the one-click script. This is on the GitHub. It was created by one of our colleagues, and it performs all the registration or the certificate generation steps, so that the script is taking the token URL in its arguments, and then it generates the certificate. Okay, so now let's start with it. Okay, I will copy this from here, and I will run the script. Okay, let's wait a minute. Okay, let's wait one more minute. Okay, it takes some time, but okay, guys. I would like to tell some joke or something, but I didn't prepare any, so. But it's kind of interesting.
It is really long key.
Yes, it is. I don't know why it's so slow. It's usually faster. Okay, so once we are generating the certificate, I will finish my presentation. I will only mention one last thing. Oh, yeah, we are there. Okay, so the proof it works. Let's try to hit the metadata service with the newly generated certificate. Okay, we are in, it works. Okay, so one last note in the end. In the future, probably we will rename the remote environment custom resource to some other name. Actually, for now, we are not sure what it will be. Discussions are in progress. So actually, that's it from my side. Thank you guys for your attention.
Thank you, Arek. Okay, then we can just go directly to the questions and feedback session. Then maybe we can start with some questions to the presentations. maybe I can start. I have a question to you, Arek, about that new custom resource. That functionality will be also available in the UI in the future? Because before I remember that was the URL with token was available in the UI itself. How do you see that?
Probably it will be, but I don't know what our plans for now. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Hi, Arik. I have a question too. Am I audible? I'm Sign here.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so in the token service resource, token request, right? So how this client is talking to the customer, what's the connection? I didn't get that. So previously, I remember, we used to do the port forward, and the problem that we are trying to solve here is we don't have that privilege, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay, so the only difference here is that using the port forward command, we needed to make a REST call to the exposed connector service, right?
Right.
In the new approach, you create a custom resource called token request, and once it got created, then you can read the token URL from the custom resource. So this is what I actually did. So you don't get it from the REST call, but you get it from the custom resource. And I forgot to note one thing here, namely that the token as well as the custom resource, they have limited time to live. They live for 5 minutes or for 5 minutes. So after that time, you are not able to read this URL. Does it answer your question, Sam?
Yeah. So this client is accessing the resource and getting the details, or?
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, okay, got it. Thanks.
Welcome.
That means that at the end we need to provide that to the end application, right? Remote application. That URL with the token, right?
Yeah.
And you also meant that the custom resource itself will be gone, right? Does I understand correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
The instance, I mean the instance will be deleted by the operator after some time. Okay, guys, any other questions?
Okay, maybe we have some general questions about the Kyma that we can address. Okay, guys, then thank you very much for the participation, and the recording will be uploaded soon to the YouTube. And thank you very much, and see you next time, right? In 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.